Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Paul, aka the guy that always takes the stupid with him, and this video we're breaking down all our theories for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm actually getting the first episode at 1 PM today in the UK, but before it gets here I thought I'd drop a video so Disney don't just think I've watched that and then put something out like, here's all my amazing fan theories that turned out to be true. Now, I am very excited and just want to thank you for all your support on the WandaVision videos which helped me to get to this point. We're of course doing breakdowns on Falcon and the Winter Soldier every week, so make sure you subscribe to watch the eagle-eyed YouTuber that puts you in the snow. Bird and winter pun there. Anyway, with that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into the video. Okay, so overall the show seems to be centered around the graphic novel run Sam Wilson, Captain America. Though his relationship with Bucky isn't that big of a focus, the series has clearly taken some ideas and aspects from it, and in the run we start with an elderly Captain America passing the mantle to Sam. This of course is very similar to the way that Endgame culminated, and they clearly put the pieces in place to follow that narrative. Similar to today's current climate, Sam finds America more divided than ever, with almost every aspect of society at the neck of its opposite. Due to the rise of nationalism, Sam finds himself as a controversial figure, and whereas he thought he would initially just be fighting bad guys and attending parades, the series goes far beyond that. This is something I feel will definitely carry across to the show, and though we don't quite know what happens yet, but I will in a couple of hours, you suckers. Early reactions from people that have already seen it say it's the most political MCU property yet. I think that due to Sam breaking the Sokovia Accords and also being on the run for several years, that he will have the mantle taken from him in exchange for all the charges against the character being dropped. However, he will have to carry on working for the government along with Bucky, and this will be part of the missions that we see them on. Now, Bucky is quite a dark horse in the show, as it's difficult to predict where his arc will be going. I kinda hope the guy finds love and a home, as he's pretty much been someone that hasn't really had a place in the world. However, I feel the show will be predominantly centered around the fight for the Captain America mantle and what it actually means to be a hero that represents a country. In the source material, there's even a bit where the hashtags #NotMyCaptainAmerica and Take Back the Shield trend, which I believe are things that we might see in the show too. It's even possible that, because of Cap wanting to lie low as an old man, that Sam and Bucky will have to pretend that the character is dead. In the trailers, we do see what looks to be the pair preparing for his funeral. However, we also know from behind the scenes info that Chris Evans is returning for a couple of projects down the line. In the comics, they actually reverse the aging process on him at one point, and this allows him to be a young man once more, which could be what the MCU ends up doing so that he can come back. I don't know how I feel on that, but from my sources, I did hear that the reason that Marvel Studios approached Chris once more is because Chadwick Boseman was going to be the next quote-unquote face of the MCU. Sadly, the actor passed away, which devastated the comic book community, and as Marvel didn't really have an established name that they could use to lead the Avengers, they went back to Chris with a proposal. I think they're just biding their time until they get that in place, and that they will do something similar to the comics where he's reverted back to being a young man. Now, I think that he will most likely be absent from the series, but because he was never able to officially announce that Sam was the new Captain America, whether he's the rightful one will be put into contention. This will open the door for the US government, which I hope is headed up by General Ross, to appoint their own Captain America, namely John Walker. Now, if you're aware of the character, then you'll know that in the comics he did have the Cap mantle, but he's more predominantly known as US Agent. US Agent is somewhat of an anti-hero, and he's been on both sides of the fence, which I think is a motif that this show will tackle with. In the comics, he and Sam actually end up facing off against each other, and this is something that is put in place by Hydra and Captain America, who was working for Hydra at the time. I think it was complicated, but the point is that Sam and US Agent end up fighting. Now, we know from the trailers that people appear in Hydra jumpsuits at one point, and this could mean that the organization is in the show. The last time we saw them, they were stealing Cross's pin particles, so they are out there somewhere. Potentially, Walker could be working for them, and he may be organising attacks with Flag Smasher in order to swoop in and save the day so he seems like a hero. Now, Flag Smasher is someone who too briefly appears in the run, and though this is an LMD, the character still brings a lot with them. Flag Smasher is a male in the comics, but looks like they've done a gender swap and set the character up with a bunch of forces so that they operate more as a group rather than one individual. In the source material, Flag Smasher holds a senator hostage at one point and reveals that his motives for doing so are because he believes that nationalism always leads to fascism and fascism always leads to war. Flag Smasher sees himself as someone who is preemptively saving lives by opening up the borders, tearing down nations, and thus allowing people to truly be free. My prediction is that Flag Smasher will be painted out in somewhat of a sympathetic light, and whereas Walker will likely be revealed as being a villain, Flag Smasher will become somewhat of a hero by the end. I think the show will be heavily steeped in politics, and it will also tackle what it truly means to be Captain America. The source material does a great job of explaining that Cap was never meant to be a force that attacked people, and they even showcase a part where Steve decides to pick a shield over a gun to hammer home this message. Captain America is supposed to be a defender, not a conqueror, and we will likely see the image of Cap perverted before Sam has to restore the mantle. After WandaVision, I feel that the Disney Plus shows will very much be side adventures that you don't have to watch if you just want to follow the films. Therefore, they need to leave things like how they were at the end of Endgame, and the series will culminate with Sam becoming Captain America once more. Now in the comics, there's actually a bit where they go to a village which S.H.I.E.L.D. have used to rehabilitate supervillains. This is actually very similar in aesthetic to WandaVision, with Maria Hill using pieces of the Cosmic Cube to somewhat alter reality. Through this power, she has changed the supervillains into people that believe they are living in an idyllic America. I don't think this aesthetic will be used, as it's too close to WandaVision to be something that they will adopt in the show, but I do believe that in the wake of the snap that the powers that be will have tried to rehouse supervillains, and this could be why Zemo is out free. The Earth was of course devastated by Thanos' actions, and it's likely that the government was just like, well, we need people to become our workforce, so all the prisoners that survived, we'll put them on rehabilitation programs. Zemo is of course still cry-wanking over that voicemail message, and this is likely driving his actions in the show. In the trailers, we see him visit a memorial for the people of Sokovia, including his family, and from the first looks, it seems like he wants to destroy superheroes across the planet. Now, we also know that there will be a scene in which Bucky confronts him face to face. I think that in this moment he will try and use the mind control words on the character, but Bucky will unload the gun to show him that they no longer work. This is a big moment for the Buckster, but I think Zemo will try and employ these tactics on other people. Potentially he could even brainwash John Walker to have him as one of his sleeper cells, and this may be a driving force behind the character turning to the dark side. #Hail Snydra. Now, we also know that the series will take us to Madripoor, the fictional Asian country that is divided into two sections. Hightown and Lowtown are both crime-ridden areas, with the former being filled with mobsters, whereas the latter is more of your typical kind of crimes, like stealing a girl's heart, which I just did. Shabow! Anyway, this location not only ties into Wolverine, but also the mutants as a whole. We know from behind the scenes information that the show changed a big aspect of its story in the wake of the pandemic, and that this plot line centered around a virus. There's even potential that this could be Terrigen Mist, which transforms people into Inhumans. I kind of feel like either them or mutants in general will be set up in the show, and that this location was picked for that very reason. We know mutants are coming down the line, and I expect to see at least one or two of the lesser known ones in the series at some point. Now, those are my sort of overarching predictions based on the comics and things that we know so far. I know with WandaVision we got a couple of things right and a lot of things wrong, but when doing fan theory videos I tend to look at the comics, which is also what a lot of my WandaVision theories were based on. Based on that and everyone being Mephisto, it's him, I knew it! Now, Marvel are never one for one with their comics to adaptations though, so I am expecting a lot of surprises as well as the usual twists and turns. Even though it's only been a week, WandaVision feels like so long ago, and I'm glad that we're back with Marvel already. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts and theories on the show, so make sure you comment below and let me know. As a thank you for interacting with the video, you'll be entered into a prize drawn the 31st of March, in which we're giving away 3 copies of a Marvel 4K box set of your choice. All you have to do to be on the chance of winning is like the video, make sure you subscribe with notifications on, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on the video. The winners of last month's competition are on screen right now, so if that's you, then message me on Twitter at Heavy Spoilers. you want something else to watch, then make sure you check out our spoiler-free-ish review of Zack Snyder's Justice League. Obviously, everyone's seen the 2017 version, so they know some of the basic plot elements, which we do discuss, but on the whole, we kind of go over the film and give our general thoughts on it. If not, then I don't know what you're going to do with the rest of your day, but thanks for sitting through the video. I've been Paul. I'll see you next time. I'm off to watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you sucker. You suck.